The smell came first. Not the usual tang of rain on cobblestone, nor the sour breath of chimney smoke, but something like wet wool left too long in the dark, heavy, clinging, and faintly sweet. Hannah noticed it on the third morning of her journey. She had been walking for days, following the river road that wound between low hills and bare trees, each step bringing her further from the place she'd called home. The road curved unexpectedly that morning, sloping down toward a cluster of roofs she swore had not been there the night before. She stopped, squinting through the mist. The buildings were close together, their chimneys unlit, their windows small and dim as closed eyes. A single street ran through the center, lined with signboards whose paint had long since peeled away. There was no sound except for the quiet drip of water from the eaves. She hadn't seen another traveler in 2 days, and her food was running low. The thought of a meal, even a poor one, was enough to push her toward the town. The smell deepened as she entered. Not rotting, exactly, but something that made the back of her throat tighten. The houses leaned toward one another as if sharing some private thought, their doors all shut. She passed a baker's shop with no bread in the window, a blacksmith's forge without heat. Halfway down the street, she heard it, a soft, deliberate tapping, somewhere ahead. It came from an inn, at least, the weathered sign suggested it had once been one. A narrow curtain shifted in the upstairs window, though she saw no one. The door gave way easily, swinging inward into a room that smelled of old wood and damp wool. The fire grate was cold, but there were 2 chairs set by it, one slightly turned toward the other. From the corner, the tapping resumed. Not hammer on nail, but knuckles against wood, slow, patient, as though whoever made it knew she would listen. She stepped toward the sound, finding a narrow hallway that led deeper inside. The tapping stopped. At the end of the hall stood a door. She expected it to be locked, but when she touched it, the latch fell open without resistance. Beyond it was a small dining room. The table was set for 2. The plates were empty, but the silverware gleamed faintly, as if polished that morning. A jug of water sat between the plates, beaded with condensation though the air was cold. A single chair was drawn back slightly from the table. She turned, suddenly aware of the silence pressing against her ears. No wind rattled the shutters, no footsteps sounded overhead. The room seemed to lean toward her, the way the houses had outside. It was then she noticed the map. It hung above the hearth, drawn in faded ink, the edges curled with age. Rivers, mountains, and roads stretched across it, but in the place where she stood, there was nothing. Only an empty space, the parchment unmarked. Something shifted in the air behind her, and she realized the smell was stronger now. She didn't hear anyone enter, but a shadow moved along the far wall, stopping just at the edge of her sight. She turned quickly, and saw only the empty chair, angled toward her. The jug on the table had tipped, spilling water that crept toward her feet. She took a step back, her boot catching on something soft. Looking down, she saw a scrap of wool, a scarf, faded and frayed. She knew it at once, though she could not have said why. It was hers. Not the scarf she wore now, but one she'd lost years before, left behind in a house that no longer stood. The shadow moved again, closer this time, though there was still no figure to cast it. She left the dining room without meaning to, her steps carrying her down the hall, through the cold inn, and back into the empty street. The mist had thickened, swallowing the far end of the road. She turned toward the way she had come, but the path was gone, replaced by another row of silent houses. No matter which way she walked, the streets folded back into one another, each turn bringing her past the same shuttered windows, the same leaning walls. She passed the inn again, or perhaps it was another just like it, and saw the curtain stir once more in the upstairs window. The tapping began again, closer now, inside the walls. She tried to run, but the street under her feet felt soft, as if the cobblestones had sunk into the earth. Her boots made no sound. Somewhere ahead, a door creaked open. She could not see it, but she knew it was meant for her. The smell was all around her now. She stepped forward, and the town seemed to take her in.